All right, so this is Corey, and I learned about the Django REST framework. I'm going to be using this in my capstone project. We're going to build an API for our React application, and so I wanted to learn how to use this. I am pretty familiar with Django, and so I knew that this existed, and I wanted to learn this, and so that I can get started on my capstone. I also built an application, a Django application already over the summer. It's a budgeting application, and so in my iOS class, we have a project where we can do whatever we want. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity to take the time to learn about this, spend a couple hours doing this, so that I could use it with my application in iOS. So learned a lot of great stuff. And it's just Django REST framework is just a simple application you can add on to your Django app, and it works great. And so let's go ahead and get started. So basically, you need three main things for the REST framework to work. You need to have a serializer for your model. You need to have a view for that, and then you need to register a route, so a URL. And that's all you need to do to get one model to work. So let's walk through that. So here you have this transaction serializer, and you can see that I'm using my transaction model. And the transaction serializer, what it's for is it helps convert the data type of the Django model data type into JSON, and then also vice versa. So it just makes it very, very easy for the developer to just use this to instead not have to worry about the conversion of the different data types. And you can see here that I just give it the fields, and it maps all the fields in here to the fields that are here. So really easy, but you need this in order for it to be able to function at all. So you start off with the serializer, and then in your views, you can use what's called a model view set. The REST framework has a lot of different classes you can inherit from, but I use the model view set because it is just a built-in way to do CRUD operations on your model. So it's really quite nice. All I have to do is write this little bit of code, and I've already got it handles the methods of get, post, put, and delete all built in, and so it's really nice. And you use those different methods to perform the different actions. So you give it the query set and the serializer class. The class is back here, right? And then I overrode the get query set method because I wanted to make sure that the user is passing in the query parameters of a year and month, so that it returns back just those transactions within that time frame instead of returning the entire database back of transactions. That would be really big for the API to send back. You can also see here that I'm making sure that it's only the user's data that's coming back as well. So kind of important, but that's all that's really required to build the view set. And then when you register the URL, with these view sets that you use in the REST framework, you need to make sure you import these routers so that you can register the different endpoints. So this would be, my website / transactions, right? And then that way I'm able to load in the data through there. But the reason why you do this is because there's other things that are involved, and it sets up everything for you to do the different operations. And so you have to register this way. If you want to make just a basic view, which I did here, to return back like a one value or whatever you want to do, you can then just register the route directly in your URL patterns. But that's what you have to do here for the view sets. So on to an example. Here in Postman, I'm just running it locally. You can see that I'm using the API transactions route, and I'm passing a month and a year. And I know that in my database I have transactions that are in June of 2018. So you also need to make sure you have authenticated, and it gives you back a token. So I've got the token there that I'm using. This is my local machine token, so I don't need to worry about it. But yeah, so if I go ahead and click send, you can see that all the transactions show up for that month, and it was that easy. Like, it was really that easy to build this API. If I, for example, want just one transaction to show up, I can then do something like /15, right? And that's the ID, and it will give me back the ID of, or that record of that specific ID. So pretty slick. If I wanted to update that, I could then do a put request and make sure I just put in the right body to make sure I'm updating the record accordingly, right? So pretty slick, and it was really easy to do, but I spent quite a bit of time putting it all together on this thing and learning all about it. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm gonna use it a lot in my capstone. So there we go.